Do you love YA Lit? Looking for a community of readers who love it as much as you do? Want to find more rad, diverse books? Check out Yeah Podcast, a show about young adult lit and what it can teach us at any age. Every episode, we discover new books, revisit old classics, hold exclusive interviews with amazing authors, and talk a lot about Twilight. This is our book club, and you're invited. Find us, and many other shows, in the Pod Cavern.
Hi everyone, I'm Tung.
I'm Sam.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Brad.
And we are the Pixar Pals, or you might know us as
Disney Dummies.
Welcome back, Disney Dummies, Pixar Pals, or maybe for the last time, Pixar Shorties. That's right.
Maybe.
After our 100th episode, we are back for the finale of Pixar Shorties, our limited series run where we are watching all of the Pixar theatrical shorts in chronological order. We've watched, 4, 8, 12 of them? 16 of them. And we are in our final four right now. And
not like March Madness style final four, though. Just the most recent four.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we're not pitting them head to head.
No.
Yet.
Is that an idea of a show?
No.
We're running out of ideas. We need to find a way.
Oh, I thought of one recently.
Yeah?
I forget.
Great.
Oh.
Good content.
Yeah. No, I remembered it. Just a full episode of hot takes, but like we discussed them.
Yeah, we do. Every episode is just one segment of the show, but just blown up. So it's like, okay,
even more fun
this
facts.
is just
The Who Fucks episode?
It's going to be crazy. The summary episode will be like 12 hours long.
Let's not.
Anyways, we are doing Pixar Shorties today, our final episode of this. For now, we never know what other Pixar shorts are going to happen. But, I mean, the last short today, and we'll get to it, happened in 2018. So, It's been a while since Pixar has really put out an original theatrical short. But, I'm getting ahead of myself. How about we get
But then they do their Spark shorts.
Then they do their Spark shorts, which are different because they're not paired with a movie, right? So
Right, but they're still shorts.
they're still shorts,
Pixar.
and they're still good. There's some great Spark shorts out there that I'm kind of sad that we didn't get to, but I kind of want to get into other stuff, maybe, with Disney
DreamWorks dummies.
Disney homies. I'm teasing. We're teasing it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe one day Disney Liveys.
No.
Disney. Nobody wants to do Disney Liveys. First of all, terrible name. But maybe one day we'll figure out a way to do
The name's
that.
the only thing I like about
At least
this.
we wouldn't have to do plots because the plots are all exactly the same.
Yeah.
Except for that additional Jasmine song.
Every other song gets movie gets an additional song from the other character who doesn't get a song in the original.
Did Beyonce get a song?
Prince
in The Lion
Eric,
King?
Beast.
Yep. Did Beyonce get a song? Yes, she did. It was when I don't know if she was singing it, but it was like when they were running through the desert, they had a full song, right?
I would think she'd sing it, yeah.
She doesn't sing the song from the Broadway one.
No,
which would be
not
the
Simba's running back to Pride Rock at the end of the
this
movie.
sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
They have a different song that plays. Anyways, doesn't matter. We're not
okay.
talking
I blocked it
All right.
out. I don't know.
It's fine.
It's okay because we're not getting to Disney.
We only
Liveys
put that
today.
movie on for our cat.
Cute.
Today we are talking about 4 Pixar shorts. We're talking about Sanjay Super Team. We're talking about Piper. We're talking about Lou. And we're talking about Bao, which is 2015, 2016, 2017, and 2018. Before we get into each individual short and what our thoughts are, how about we get into just a quick nostalgia piece about these shorts as a whole? Laura, have you seen all of these shorts before yesterday's viewing?
No, I hadn't seen Sanjay. I'd definitely seen Piper a few times. I might have seen Lou once, and I had seen Bao a couple times.
Okay. How about yourself, Sam, Brad?
Looking at the list that we were doing, I was like, oh yeah, I know all these. But then Lou, I was like, what the fuck is Lou?
Yeah.
But then as soon as it started, I was like, oh, maybe I've seen this, but I didn't remember it much, and I definitely didn't recognize it by name.
You know,
It's one of those things that like you don't know if you've actually seen it or if it just feels so Pixar that it feels like you've seen it.
sure. Not to spoil anything, but Brad kind of looks like Lou. Hot take.
True.
No baseball eyes though.
It's the big eyes and the red sweater.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, is it a baseball ball or just a baseball?
A baseball.
Okay.
Baseball.
It's 2 baseballs for the eyes, right?
Yeah, I just mean, do you call it a baseball?
Oh.
Like pass me
Yeah.
that baseball or pass me that baseball ball?
You don't say ball twice.
Yeah,
It's
you know
just
what?
baseball.
Because
baseball's a sport.
Give me the basketball ball. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
No, you're
the tennis
right.
ball
You're
ball.
right. You're right.
The
I
bowling
feel
ball
foolish. No. That's just a bowling ball because the sport's called bowling.
Pickleball ball.
Pickleball ball.
The
Yeah.
sport's called tennis, and you call it a tennis ball.
Yeah, but tennis.
Yeah, but it doesn't have ball
Ball's
in it.
not in the name.
Baseball and basketball, it's in the name.
Oh,
we're getting off
Right.
track.
Football.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel I've got some real
Rugby
egg on my
ball?
face after that one, guys.
That's okay. That's okay. It's been a while since we've recorded anything. Brad, have you seen all these shorts before today?
It sounds like I had the exact same reaction as Sam because I looked at the list and I was like, pretty sure I've seen all these. And then the Sanjay one, I was like, yeah, I kind of remember this one. Like, I've definitely seen it. Piper, I for sure have seen a bunch of times. And then, yeah, Lou started. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, have I seen this?
Yeah.
And it was like going, I was like, I don't remember this. Maybe I haven't seen this. So this might be the only one on this whole, all out of all the shorts that I might not have actually seen before.
Oh, really? Because
yesterday.
you've seen all of the oldie ones, right? For like
Yeah,
in school
all the
and
other
stuff.
ones we've covered, I've definitely seen. So Lou might be the only one I
Okay.
didn't see, which would be
Which
weird.
makes
I feel
sense
like-
because it
yeah.
aired in front of Cars 3, which
Oh,
we all famously
okay.
didn't give a fuck about.
That's probably
I thought
why I
we
didn't see
famously
it then.
thought it was an okay movie.
It was okay.
We did, but we famously
didn't.
in theaters wouldn't have cared
I see,
to
I
go
I
see.
didn't
see
even
it.
know there was a Cars 3 until we watched it. I thought that was a joke.
What's for Cars 4?
It was Cars 3-3.
Baseball ball. Pass me the baseball. Yeah, that makes sense.
Paintball ball.
Stop it.
For myself, exact same thing. In fact, I thought I didn't remember if I saw Sanjay Super Team, but as soon as we like put it on, I was like, no, I've definitely seen this like once or twice. But yeah, Lou was a big kind of hole in my Pixar Shorties repertoire.
I was gonna say Sanjay was one of those ones that came to the animation festival, and I'm pretty sure Pixar came here to like do a talk on it. It was
Okay.
like one of those ones.
Oh,
but I
that's
don't know if
cool.
I went to the talk that year, but I definitely remember like seeing things about it like the year it came out.
Yeah, that's neat. Well, let's talk about Sanjay Super Team right now. It got 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb, a little low, 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. It came out with Good Dinosaur, so that would make sense for why I didn't see it when it came out. But I do remember, I have a vague memory that people were talking about it for a little bit, and it's probably because it was nominated for Best Animated Short, but it didn't win that year. I actually didn't look up what won that year. But yeah, I remember like that there was kind of like a cultural story that was happening with Sanjay Super Team and blending in superhero stuff in it. So let's get right into the summary of it.
You could say it really left its mark.
Stop it. That's a Good Dinosaur joke for those people who haven't seen
I just got it.
Good Dinosaur. That's the only thing I remember from Good Dinosaur is them in their stupid silo.
You're running through the fields. And
I
all the
remember
fireflies.
when the little boy is going poo and he makes eye contact with the dinosaur.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, and then there's like a firefly scene and
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
maybe I do remember more. than
The scary pterodactyl, voiced by Steve Zahn.
yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually didn't remember that one. So.
The T-Rex is running. The T-Rex
Like
is
horses.
like we're galloping horses.
Sam Elliott.
that's a great film. Let's watch it again.
Well, before that, we'd have to watch Sanjay Super Team.
Yeah, let's.
It's based on a mostly true story. I'll get into that with the source material after this short summary. But it starts off with Sanjay watching a superhero show. He's kind of playing with his superhero action doll as well. Meanwhile, his dad is in the same room praying at a Hindu shrine. And the kid's like writing down like super team in his notebook in colorful crayon. And then he's playing with his like action doll. And his dad is praying and ringing this bell. And the kid's like pretty annoyed because he wants to watch this super team TV show. So the kid turns up the volume. The dad turns it down. The kid turns it back up. The dad turns off the TV. And the dad's like, no more TV. Come pray with me. And, you know, as kids do, they get really annoyed when they have to do something that is much more boring than something that's highly stimulating, like a children's TV show. And so they're both kind of like annoyed at each other right now. And as the dad's closing his eyes and praying at the Hindu shrine, the kid tries to steal back the action figure. And the dad is like distracted because his eyes are closed. And the kid like sets the toy on fire by accident, like the cape of the action figure. And because it's on fire, he blows out the fire on the cape and then blows out the fire on the candle, which immediately transports him into like a dreamy sequence here where he is like in front of a temple with 3 stone statues, which resemble the little tinier statues of the real life shrine that his dad is praying to. And then we see like this demon king. I wrote down the name, but I think I spelt it wrong. I think it's Ravana, but I could have gotten that wrong. So this Ravana, this demon king, is appearing to steal these statues' weapons. And Sanjay is trying to light this candle to bring alive these like kind of gods that are like part of these statues. And then it happens. So then we get this monkey man, this tiger girl, and this blue guy with Vishnu arms. And it is Vishnu. And then we have the goddess, pretty sure goddess Durga, who's the tiger lady girl, and Hanuman, I think. And they summon this bell. The bell comes up a lot in this short. And these 3 superhero Hindu gods summon this bell to entrap the bad guy. The bad guy breaks free, destroys their bells. And like a lot of cool like superhero action is happening right now. The style has changed since them hanging out in the motel room from earlier in this dream sequence. So lots of like zip and zabs and punching and all these flashy movements. Yes,
Bam.
pow. So the bad guy, like once he's trapped and he destroys the other god's bells, the Sanjay comes up and rings the other, like there's this giant lamp that looks like a bell. So he uses his action figure, breaking the action figure and ringing the bell himself. And then the bad guy is defeated, but he's not like dead. He like, it just calms this demon king down and he peacefully leaves. The 3 Hindu gods give back the action figure to Sanjay and then the dream sequence ends. The dad sees his son kind of like getting out of this trance here. And he's like looking at his son and being like, I'm never going to get through to this kid. And he gives back the remote, kind of like defeated that like, okay, you go back to doing your thing and I'll go back to doing my thing. And Sanjay runs back to the TV. And instead of turning on the TV, he draws the 3 Hindu gods into his book. And instead of saying just super team, it says Sanjay super team. And then he shows his dad. His dad's like really pumped that his son is showing interest in his religion and their religion. And now they're lying down next to each other, kind of like talking back and forth. And now they finally have found common ground with one another.
Nice.
So that is Sanjay Super Team. I quite enjoyed this short. It's very zippy. And it has a nice little message at the end of it. What did everyone else think?
They lost me in the middle sequence, the imagined stuff with the fighting. I didn't really know what was going on.
Like visually, you didn't know what was going on? Or?
Visually, but also conceptually, like in terms of the story, I just didn't really get
Is it in his imagination?
But it was like a big fight. But I'm like, so this is a bad guy, but is he like, does he represent something, or is it just like, is he a god?
Yeah.
What's the story there? And then the 3 other ones came down, and it's like, okay, I guess they're the good ones, and then he kept climbing into that bowl with the candle. I feel like maybe there were just no levels. Maybe there was no deeper meaning, and I was just trying too hard, but I didn't really get what was happening.
There was a little bit of a thing that I had to look up later about that, but I think it's just like, trying to draw a parallel between like what he already likes, which is the superhero stuff, with like religion, and trying to like find a way to make that cool.
Make it cool.
Make it cool for the kid, right?
Because religion's cool. guys.
Yeah, if you have ever seen Jesus play, you see a lot of Jesus on a cross, but have you seen him use a cross to fuck up some other gods? What did you two think about this one?
What year did you say this came out? 2016?
15.
15? So I got a lot of Scott Pilgrim versus the World vibes from this. Not that that's bad. It's definitely good, if anything. But it was okay. I wouldn't like throw it on and watch it. But yeah, I kind of assumed that it's these gods that I don't know about, but I kind of figured that was the meaning and the calming spirit, and I thought it was cute, but yeah, that's kind of where it left me. I was like, oh yeah, that was cute. I'll watch it again in another 10 years.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Sam, what about you?
Yeah, I don't really feel strongly like either way about it. I'm like it's again, yeah, it's kind of cute. I feel like the designs, like they're cool, but they don't stick with me. And I know they each had their own color and they were different. And the one guy had the many arms. I don't know, something about it feels like
The one guy, that's Vishnu. That's the only one I know.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I can't like picture them very clearly in my head. I'm like picturing like the like I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to get at here. Nothing sticks in my brain with this one, with the like visuals of everything,
It had
except
like
the
Kung
little
Fu
kid.
Panda vibes and Scott Pilgrim versus the World vibes.
Kung Fu Panda vibes is actually a good like parallel to it because it did feel like that. I think like watching so much superhero actiony stuff over the last handful of years, like the spectacle of these types of fighting, even in the short form, it's like it does look amazing, it does look good, but it kind of like all blends together with things that
You know what I think it is like you don't really see those gods or characters too much before they like come alive and start fighting.
Yeah, maybe
so I just like feel like I don't really like know them, and then they're there fighting and then they're gone, and it's just like it doesn't like stay in my brain. And it's like the case of like a more full movie that isn't a short, like I probably would have like got to know them a little and then seen them be cool and then like whatever. So it's not that I like the idea there. I just kind of wish I had more of the gods almost, because like they just don't stick in my brain very well. So I don't know.
I did appreciate the different animation style. So like partway through the sort of imagined sequence, the style shifted. I feel like it's when the gods came out of like their statue things to fight. But I kind of wish like that the whole imagined sequence was in that style, because that was another thing that I didn't understand. I was like, why are we in a different animation style right now? But I thought it was really cool. Like if the whole kind of middle of the story had been done in that style, I feel like that would have been more impactful than the random change partway through.
Yeah, that's fair. I think for me, like I was trying to draw parallels because I'll get into source material, which will blend right into it. So inspired by like the director of the short, Patel, it's by his own childhood when he felt conflicted by the modern world and the Hindu traditions of his family. Sanjay Super Team follows, the daydream of like a kid trying to like reconcile just still being like a modern kid, but also like following tradition. And like that's tough for, second generation immigrants or anything like that, right? And like they said that in this source material that this is kind of like Patel's life. He grew up in a motel setting, so this is kind of what it looked like for him, which was like watching superhero shows and really loving that, but like really not grasping at this like the Hindu religion side of things. And then eventually he kind of did. So like for myself, I'm like thinking like if I growing up Buddhist and stuff, that was what I was trying to do as a kid. Like I just wanted to stay home and watch Saturday morning cartoons and things like that. And then trying to figure out what was the cool gods. You see pictures of these gods, but you're like, okay, but like we've all hung out with like smaller children and stuff like that.
What's their HP?
Yeah, like what's their power? Are they strong? How strong are they? Like, if I thought like that some more, maybe I would have kind of like latched onto my own religion more, I guess. But I think that's like what Sanjay was obviously doing, and this is what this whole short's all about. But yeah, I like the message of it. But yeah, like I think all superhero stuff is kind of like blendy together for me these days anyways. Let's get into 5-star, 1-star, shall we?
Sure.
We have from Sakichi Ishida, 5-star. As a Southeast Asian whose culture largely originated from South Asia, I must say this movie brings me to tears. Not only Sanjay's relationship with his father is relatable, but also the visual is everything I yearned for. It's powerful, but serene at the same time, just like the deities themselves. I'm surprised that I can notice the gods from first sight, Durga, Vishnu, and Hanuman, even though it's been so long since I last visited Bali. The bell sound, oh, it's so pretty and divine. Thank you, Sanjay. Religion and our current life can be intersected so beautifully in such a short movie because of you. May success be with you and the team always. So that's kind of nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that kind of sums up what this whole short was going for. And like, I don't actually think that you have to have grown up with these specific gods to appreciate that if you grew up in like a somewhat religious family, right? Another 5-star that's really short from Pooja Gudrin. I Indian and I like it. Let's go.
Let's go.
I thought that was funny.
All right.
Yeah, if Pooja likes it. 1 star, Zeph Kedros. Wow. Just wow. I love Sanjay far more than my firstborn. You see, my only child is a dropkick. He listens to reggae and that god-awful hop hip. But when I see Sanjay on the screen, it makes all my problems go away. And just for a second, I feel happy. 3 out of 5. But it was 1 out of 5 on Google reviews.
I feel like I came across one of those for mine, and I was like, do people just like misclick and then they're like, like they can't be bothered to go back or something?
Or maybe they know that they're going to get more engagement if
Well, yeah.
they write
maybe.
conflicting
Get
information.
on the show. That's why they're doing it.
Yeah, and yeah.
Just for our show.
And there has to be some level of trolling because like hop hip.
As you were reading that one, I was like, this is a troll. This is not real.
Right? Anyways, but I'd love to get into some hot takes. Hot takes here for Sanjay Super Team. Any hot takes for Sanjay Super Team?
Dad's a quitter.
Dad's a quitter?
Yeah, he's just going to let his kid give up on religion.
Wow.
Yeah, he's just like, fine, superheroes
I
it is.
honestly had a similar hot take there.
Yeah, he gave up quick.
Sorry, Dad.
I guess one I had is, are you telling me that the toy can just light things on fire? That seems dangerous.
Also, did it have lighter fluid inside of it? What was that about?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that
know.
all about?
I feel like it was maybe just like a spark, like inside, like a
okay.
kind of thing.
But it still was enough to like light a candle.
Yeah.
Which is problematic for a children's toy.
Yes.
Yes.
And you pull the legs together, and the toy doesn't make sense to me. That's my biggest sticking point.
Yeah.
What kind of toy is that?
It's probably made of lead, too.
Yeah. Sam, any hot takes for Sanjay Super Team at all?
No.
No. Here's mine. I still think Sanjay Super Team is better than most DC films these days, and especially Venom
good.
3, The Last Dance, because I've seen that recently.
Haven't seen it.
Bad
Don't
movie.
spoil it.
Bad movie.
I said don't spoil it.
Well, here's another spoiler. All of them are bad. And yet I watched all of them opening weekend because I'm sick in the head.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. And the other one is, do kids still sit that close to TVs?
Yes.
Is that still a thing?
Yes. Well,
gotta
I
be,
guess
right?
most TVs these days are wall mounted.
Yeah. Like, it just seems like really...
So maybe not.
Like, this is my age speaking, but I'm like, get back, kid. Like, it's like, that's so bad for your eyes. That is definitely
But
age
TVs
speaking.
were smaller. Like this movie's definitely set in
Yeah.
the past, like the 80s or 90s, right?
Yeah.
So TVs were smaller then. The
Yeah,
picture
they're
wasn't
not
as strong.
up. You're
not as
right.
bright.
Most are mounted now, so you wouldn't sit that close.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we have to move on to the next segment, but I did have a few did you knows that I forgot to mention here. So the one was the demon figured was inspired by a number of sources, including the notions of disrespect and greed. But finally, drawing from Buddhist tradition, the demon isn't vanquished, he isn't destroyed. Once the boy destroys his idol, it makes the monster more human, which I didn't actually get when I was watching it the first time. Like I saw like the bell was rung or whatever. Yeah, the kid, Sanjay, rings the bell and he's not like killed. The demon just becomes a little bit more serene and calm, but I didn't really pull any of that extra stuff from it. And then we have like the toys were inspired by like Transformers and watching like Looney Tunes cartoons. And the last thing I had was that the film was supposed to be originally with only Vishnu as the god that comes out. But later they decided to add more gods to be a little bit more interesting and a little bit more like relatable because I don't know. I guess they wanted to just have more gods because they all represent different things in Southeast.
You know what
culture.
this needs? Yeah, a lady god.
Yeah, honestly, paraphrasing, yes. And then they're like, let's throw in a half animal deity, which is the Hanuman guy. But yeah, that's it for me. Let's move on to Sam with Piper.
I did Piper.
Oh, Laura with Piper.
Hi.
I forgot because you usually don't do the bird ones, but
Yeah, I was shocked that you didn't swap.
I really, I conquered my fears this week, which is a major theme of the short Piper, which I'll get into. Okay. Piper opens with waves on a beach and some creature life. We see a large, long-legged bird. Gross. We see some small ocean critters playing in the sand in the waves. And then we see a bunch of young sandpipers making their way to the water. Then we zoom out a little bit and see one mother sandpiper and her baby. And so they're kind of further up the beach in the grass. The mother sandpiper goes down to the water and she is kind of demonstrating for her baby how to find food. So she finds like this little clamshell that she opens and plucks. What's inside those little shells? I don't know, some sort of sea worm thing that you eat as a bird. And then the baby's like,
mollusk? Is that a mollusk?
What's a mollusk?
Okay.
So the baby just like on the beach, like opens its mouth, like, yeah, feed me, bring that here. And the mother's like, nah. She's not bringing it to him. I've decided Piper is a boy. So Piper has to go get it. And he kind of ventures out onto this wet sand and he discovers these little bubbles coming up from the sand. And then he discovers a wave and the wave hits him real good. Little Piper's pretty traumatized. Very
traumatized.
Yeah. And Mama's trying to convince him to go out again. Oh yeah. It basically just cuts to him like huddling in
smash
the grass.
cut and he's got the like crazy eyes
and his hair or his feathers are pointing in every direction.
Disheveled.
It's very cute for a bird. It's very cute.
And I guess they're hunting for bivalves.
Bivalves.
That's what it's called, which is like an aquatic mollusk.
Is that a mollusk? There we go. I dug these up on the beach in Animal Crossing.
Yes, that's right. Okay.
I believe that's what they were.
Sam's face lit up.
Yeah. Sam, you want to go back to the island tonight? So little traumatized Piper is huddling on the beach and Mom's trying to convince him to go out again. And he sees another wave and he's spooked, but he's also hungry and he knows that if he wants to eat, he's going to have to try again. So he ventures down bit by bit, and then he spots a bubble and he knows that, oh, okay, inside the bubble is food. But then another wave approaches, and so he runs back up the beach to safety. And then in the dry sand, he discovers these tiny like sand crabs. I don't know. They're these little creatures in shells. Mm-hmm. And he follows them down to the water and he watches them have their own little snacks, mollusks. But he also sees that when the wave comes in, they know how to protect themselves by burrowing down into the sand. And so he's like, interesting. And then another wave approaches and Piper follows the lead of these little crabs and buries himself. And then his newest little crab friend, while they're underwater in the midst of the wave, the crab encourages him to open his eyes. And Piper does that, and he's totally enchanted by this underwater world around him. And suddenly his fear is gone, and he's happily jumping in and out of the water, using his new kind of love of water to find the biggest mollusks to impress all of his other sandpiper friends. And then the movie ends as the sun sets, and Piper keeps working away, gathering mollusks. How lovely.
Wasn't there an after credit thing on this one?
We didn't see it. What was it?
He
Remember
just
what it was, Sam?
Not really. He just like snuggles up at his sleeping.
Oh, yeah. He's like super dead, just like
He's
laying
tired.
by his mother.
All tuckered out.
Yeah. Like if your dog, when
I was just
Cap is
thinking of
just
Cap.
like KO'd, like the same thing. Yeah. it
From
was very
working too
cute.
hard.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff.
So a few things to know about this movie. It was released before Finding Dory. It won the Oscar for Best Animated Short. I think well-deserved. I would say this is a pretty beautiful film. What did everybody else think about it?
Yeah, this one like sticks out in my memory a lot. I don't know. I feel like I was like excited for it to come out. Like I feel like it must have released teaser images or something because I remember like being hyped for a short or maybe it was hitting the festival circuit as well. I don't remember, but I do remember being excited for it, being like, this looks really cute and the visuals look really realistic. Like obviously it's like super hyper realistic. And then when I saw it, I obviously thought it was adorable. So I probably watched it a billion times.
Yeah. And there's like, it's realistic, but then there's the right amount of expression coming from Piper that still make it animated in a way that like,
expressive, not like Lion King.
Like Lion King, exactly. Like these characters feel like you're seeing like Piper, the main character's like, you know, fear and excitement when they're feeling that stuff.
And they feel like Bert. Yeah, like listeners at home, our cat likes to watch National Geographic and like nature shows, and it is fooled by Piper and the Lion King because it's so real that they think it's a real animal.
I had a similar thing to Sam about like, I feel like I remember like a lot of people talking about Piper and it was kind of like buzzed up a lot. Even when we went to Disney World last, Laura, I think
they're always playing Pixar shorts.
Yeah.
Like, they call it a festival, but basically they just play three
shorts.
Yeah.
And was Piper playing for ours? Anyways, we've seen this one quite a bit. And
I really like this one. I like the art direction. I like the lighting. Got some good sand in there.
Great
Those
sand.
grains of sand look so
Great
good.
sand.
I'm going to say it. Wee you to the short, to Piper the bird, and the sand.
Oh, wow.
The bubbles are beautiful too.
What about the little crab guy?
They're pretty
Oh,
cute.
that
short
crab
fox.
definitely fucks.
The short
Yeah.
fox.
Yeah.
No, I think this short's pretty up there for me. I like the story. I like the visuals. I like the animation. Like I said, the designs. I like the character. I like all the disheveled feathers and stuff and zipping around once he's like
The
super
movement
pumped.
is really cool in Piper. Yeah, it's very realistic.
I think it's a really, really well executed short. I even like the font that they chose for Piper. I'm just looking at it over here.
The end makes me tear up too when he's like conquered his fears. He's just running and the camera's all low and he's just like zip. I'm like, oh, you did it, little guy.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Even the way the way the waves move, but also the way the birds move. Like whenever I see that in real life, it's so interesting how it really looks like a magnetic pull of like pulling the waves back into the ocean afterwards. And I feel like they captured that so well. In the same way the birds like run towards the water.
Yeah.
Anywho, some did you knows particulars about these shorts. Sorry, everyone. It's the Ticketmaster queue's just open for Taylor Swift tickets, so I'm just gonna have a real quick look, if you don't mind. If you don't mind,
I'll fill in.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Just real.
I'll fill in real quick for you, Laura. This movie or this short had 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. Guess how much?
9.1.
Well, it's on percentages for Rotten Tomatoes.
91%.
Higher.
Whoa.
Keep going, Sam.
96.
Higher.
What? Well deserved.
99.
Higher.
100.
It's 100%
Oh my gosh.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? I saw that and I'm like, wow, that's
I mean,
incredible.
It's definitely up there for me of all the shorts. I feel like, funnily enough, the two bird shorts are pretty up there for me.
Was that the For the Birds?
For the Birds and this one?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Laura, I think I've delayed.
It's during that. It's during that thing where it says it's a protected queue, and I'm not a verified fan, even though I am. This would be huge. This would be really big for me personally. Okay.
I'm just looking at images of Piper now.
It should only
It's so
be a
well
minute.
done. I like the shallow depth of field that they have as well. The camera lens, like there's a lot of blur between the bird and after to like show the size. Super cute. All the concept art is really cute too. Found like a homemade plushie for Piper. It's not as cute.
I'm back. I'm focused. Where were we? Oh, what happened?
Laura is the disheveled bird right now.
No kidding. No kidding.
Okay, so in terms of source material, inspiration for this movie came from the director who also wrote the film, Alan Barriaro. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but Alan would go for runs on the beach near Pixar Studios, and he would notice like the waves coming up on the shore and birds like running out to the water in between the waves. So that was kind of what inspired him. And he and the other animators studied birds at beaches in the Bay Area to kind of see how they moved, and I feel like they captured it pretty well. There's some ways that you can really see that in how the personalities of the birds are really, Piper kind of comes out through his feathers. We talked about like his eyes being like crazy eyes, but also the way the feathers are pointed in various directions, or like the way they're flattened or the way they puff up can really, I think, convey emotion really well. And then in terms of storytelling and themes, the inspirations for Barrilara were parenting, because he had 3 kids and he wanted to kind of explore that, which this is definitely from the kid's point of view, but it's still like, you know, the mother bird makes very distinct choices on how to get Piper to venture out into the world, as well as overcoming fears, because he was overcoming his own fear of being lead director on something after working on a lot of different Pixar properties. And in the same way that Piper overcame his fears, so did Alan. Well done, Alan.
Don't we all?
Yeah. For 5-star, 1-star, what have I got here for you? What have I got here? I found no. Okay, Amanda's calling me right now. She might have tickets.
Oh my gosh.
Hello.
I'm gonna get more wine.
I tried. I'm not in the protected queue, but I'm also recording a podcast right now. It's okay. Okay, I love you. Okay, bye. Okay,
Didn't happen, eh?
Sorry, everyone. She just was telling me to get in line in the queue, but
This
I
is
can't.
Insanity.
Where were we? 5-star, 1-star. So I couldn't. There were no 1-stars. There were only 4 and 5 stars.
Of course.
For the 5-star, here's what I got. I recently watched Piper. Oh, this is from Sarah Zgoul. Sarah says, I recently watched Piper, and it is an amazing movie that I have ever seen in my life. It's perfect for all ages. The coastal environment of the movie, and as the story unfolds, we can see how the life would gets changed after we have overcome our fear, is a different feeling that everyone should have felt in their life. In my opinion, it is the best movie that is far better than the 3 Hours movie in giving the same best moral in someone's life. The animation is amazing, and you'll quickly fall in love with Piper's adventures. It's a must-watch for its cuteness and life lessons. 2 people found this helpful. 5 stars. Thank you, Sarah. And then the 5-star review that I'm giving 1 star is from Carter Niedzielski. It's so cute. I love it. I like how Piper does not know what to do when the wave comes and sees underwater. Huh? Get it? Sees. Okay, it's a bad joke, but I love your movie / not movie, film, whatever good movie / film. 2 people found this helpful. 5 stars. Carter, I'm giving your review 1 star because as a lover of puns, that was a really bad pun. Thank you.
That's interesting. I feel like you would have made that pun.
No, it was he goes under the seas and sees. No.
Laura's better than that, Tuck.
Thank you.
Is she? She's been telling the same cheese joke for her presentation
because
for
it gets
10
laughs
years.
every time. When it's Gouda, you stick with it, tongue. Yeah.
Don't you laugh at that.
Sam's laughing like she have already heard
So
that
bad.
one. Okay. Hot takes. Anyone? Mine is for a film about birds and sea creatures. I really didn't mind this one.
My hot take was Piper looks better than Scuttle from the Little Mermaid live action movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just so much
Easily.
cuter. So much cuter.
Yeah.
It's like we talk about expressions and stuff like that. Like Scuttle, I actually didn't mind the live action Little Mermaid too much, but I find Scuttle in that movie. Did you guys end up seeing that movie? I can't remember.
Yes,
I came and
watched
went.
it without Brad.
If you remember, Sam, like, or you probably don't, but like Scuttle's face doesn't really change too much. They really keep it live actiony, right?
Yeah.
So like this is the expression. Even when Scuttle's rapping, it's just completely
Well,
the
that's
same.
all the live action animals. None of them are expressive, and I feel like maybe they should have stylized them more like this Piper short with
Exactly.
like cartoony eyes that can express cartoony emotions. Or maybe it's because they were supposed to be cartoons, not fucking live action. I'm so tired, you guys. I'm tired.
That's it for my hot take.
Sam or Brad, do either of you have hot takes?
Negative.
No, I like this one.
There's not a lot to say about Piper other than that it's a good movie
Yeah.
/ film.
Yeah, good parenting by the mom there, setting her child up for success, encouraging it to overcome its fears.
Unlike Sanjay's dad. Am I right?
I mean, we got polar opposites going on here. All right, I think it's over to Sam and Lou.
It is. It is. Nice. The short that everyone forgot about or didn't see. And I know here at Pixar Pals, we've asked ourselves, what if toys had feelings? What if monsters had feelings? What if feelings had feelings? Now, what if the lost and found had feelings?
Yep.
I feel like Laura already said it, or one of you said it. Like it's the Pixariest Pixar
Yeah.
short. It is very much just giving feelings to another thing and being feely. So this short, like I said, it's about a lost and found whose name is Lou, because the letters in the lost and found bin that are missing spell Lou.
That is a reveal at the very end of the short, though. You have
Is it? Is it not
think
part of the
so.
title at the beginning?
I thought at the very
Really?
end they show Lou,
I
and
mean,
that's how you're
I thought
like,
they show
oh.
it again at the end.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe I actually would have to rewatch because I thought
I
that
feel like
it
it's at
was
the beginning,
apparent
too.
Yeah, I think it's
Really?
apparent like right away. Yeah, I
Interesting.
think they don't draw attention to it, but it is on the box.
Well, they see
so
lost
like
and found, but I didn't. Anyways, yeah.
the letters are still missing from the beginning. I think.
Okay.
They just don't like zoom in on it and are like, woo.
Well, maybe that's why
until the end.
I need a zoom
Yeah.
in.
Tongue needed it spelled out. But no, there's a box at the beginning and we open and the kindergarten, it's a very like one kind of short little set here. I mean, I guess most shorts are, but yeah, so we're at recess in a little children's playground. The playground kind of gives me Malcolm in the Middle recess
Oh, interesting.
playground vibes.
That's fun.
I don't know. So all the kids are playing, and at the end, once the bell goes off and they go inside, Lou, the lost and found, I'll call him a monster. Is he a monster? He's a bunch of toys kind of
Alien?
mangled together.
Alien?
Like-
I didn't really think of him as a monster.
What did you
But-
think of him as?
Lou.
Okay. Well, Lou is compiled. I feel like this was it Forky or someone in Toy Story? No, even the car in Cars. This was like a hot take-ish later, but it's like, how much of Lou makes up Lou?
Yeah,
Like, how much
true.
do we take away before you're not Lou anymore? Because Lou is truly all of the toys in the box. So whenever he moves around, it's like creative, like, he kind of moves around like the octopus in Finding Dory a little
Yeah.
bit. Like his
Yeah.
limbs, like with the
Yeah.
sweaters
Also,
and with
like,
all the...
Pita, Mr. Potato, Tortilla Potato Head.
Yeah, Tortilla
Yeah.
Potato Head,
Yeah.
like very creative and like imaginative, which I like about this is like we don't know how this would move. Like you could do this so many different ways with
And they
all these
do.
different random things. And they do. Yeah, he's very like amorphous or like amorphous blob-like and can just do anything. So he like kind of creeps around the schoolyard at first, like taking the toys that were left behind to like keep in his collection and I think he subtly like tries to put them out so the kids find them again.
It's cute.
But at one recess, he sees this bully kid who's stealing people's toys and putting them in his backpack.
Loser.
That was better than C.
Wow.
Should have saved that for hot takes.
I think it was better than C.
Thank you.
Slightly better than C.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. So the bully kid is taking kids' toys, and Lou sees this. Lou's eyeballs are two baseball balls with
Nice.
with buttons as pupils.
I love that.
And it's very cute. So anyways, he sees the bully taking the toys and putting them in his backpack. So at the end of recess, he like goes to chase down this kid to get the toys back from him. And that's where we get the chase scene where Lou is like, I don't know, just doing all sorts of crazy shit in this chase. It's very cartoony. It's very like wild in the like how they get him to move around and just throw his parts around to like do things.
Just
It's like
rearranging
hard
his body,
transformations.
like he's
yeah,
always
it's hard to
rearranging.
even explain. It's such visual gags, which I do like, and it's all very fast. But I was noting last night, I've been talking to my animators a lot about readability, and I think it's very interesting how we don't even really know the true form of this character. Like, there's no real model because he can just be in any combination of ways. But whenever he's on screen, you know exactly like what's going on and what is happening and what shape he's in and who it is. And I don't know, it's just interesting that all these gags and stuff read like so well. And I was so impressed by
I think
by
'cause,
this
like,
whole chase sequence.
His body, like the sweater, the red sweater is basically always his body, obviously. And then like the two tennis or
Yeah.
baseballs are the things that are a little bit more consistent about Lou, but everything else around him always changes.
His limbs,
Yeah.
yeah, it's true. The red it does stay, and at one point he's like on the ground, and the sweater kind of like the neck of the sweater opens up like it's a mouth, so like he's like screaming. But like every time you flop, the sweater does a lot of heavy lifting, but it's still really like cool to see him like flop around.
yeah.
Because like if you were just like, here, how does a sweater run around? I'd be like, like I could come up with something, but it is cool. So I think that's the zaniest, like, kind of fun part. And then eventually Lou, I don't think he wins, but he notices on the bully kid's underwear that it says JJ on it. And so Lou recognizes these initials, goes into his little box or body, however you want to think of it. Everything in the box is like part of Lou, I guess. And finds a toy that it looks very well loved, or maybe we're to be implied that it's been there for a while, but it has the same JJ initials on it. So he shows it to the bully, and the bully's like, oh, like having a moment, like, I want my toy back. Like it was clearly his that he lost back in the day. But Lou keeps it and is like, and gestures that JJ has to return all the things he stole before he can give him the toy back. And so at the recesses, we kind of get a montage of JJ starting to give kids their stuff back. And at first he's kind of begrudging and he's doing it. And kids are happy. And then one girl, after he gives her stuff back, like gives him a hug. And then he started kind of like changing his tune. Like he's actually excited to give their kids their toys back. So then he starts just giving back everything from the lost and found, whether or not it was stuff he had stolen. And so he's like constantly, like, we just kind of see him like zipping around, giving everyone these things until he goes to give out more from the box. And all that's left is the JJ Duffy. And so he's done and he gets his toy and Lou is gone.
Oh, but Lou lives on in all of us.
Yeah.
Baloo?
Yeah, my hot question
Did you
was
say Baloo?
No.
Baloo lives in all of us. But my hot question
No,
is
he
like,
lives in
at
the
what
jungle.
point did he stop being Lou? When there was one thing left, was he like? Obviously, it's a cartoon, and we never see that because you don't see in the box while this is happening, and then it's empty. So it's like, oh, Lou's gone. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, because like when it was just that stuffy and one thing left, was Lou like flipping around as a block or whatever
A
the second
ghosty.
last thing.
Yeah,
was. I don't know.
I'm picturing a ghosty. You know, the next time something's lost in the lost
Yeah.
and found, he like repossesses whatever
Yeah.
items are in there.
Yeah, he's always in, as long as there's one thing there.
Yeah. And if there's nothing
So-
there, then he just kind of like hangs out until something gets in there, because something's going to get
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's still around.
He lives in you.
there. He lives in Lou.
Yes. So that is Lou. What did we all think of Lou?
I actually
Tongue?
really liked it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, like I really liked just the Lou animation. That's the thing I like the most out of it. Like the lessons and stuff imparted in it is very like kind of standard. So like I guess that's not as special, but it is like a nice message. But the thing that stands out to me is just how cartoonish Lou moves, how imaginative his movement or their movement is throughout the whole playground. And that was enough for me to like really like be like, actually, like this short's pretty cool because of all that stuff.
He kind of feels like a Muppet, like those ones that have the like underbite and the floppy mouth, and they're just eyeballs on top. Do you know what I'm
Yes.
talking
You're
about?
talking about Beaker?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, not Beaker. The ones that are like just a material
Yeah,
and
they're
eyes.
just a material, and
and
they're like, "Meow, meow, meow."
Kermit?
Yeah.
I've watched 7 Muppet movies in the last week, and yet I cannot define.
oh
which
man,
one
they're
you're
like very
talking about.
alien-esque. I don't know. Are they Manamana guys? No, they're not the Manamana
Manamana.
guys.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, you do know who I'm talking about.
Well, I don't know
Sidekicks later.
who, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Maybe not one
I
of the
don't know
main
their names.
Muppets. Maybe not
No,
one of the main.
No,
definitely.
but they've got
no.
really blue mouths under like anyway. Anyways, that's what Lou's like to be. Brad, thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, I like the animation of Lou. A lot of the bully stuff made me laugh when he was like being a dick to the kids, just because he was being a really creative dick. He wasn't just like being a bully, but he was doing it creatively, which had me chuckling quite a bit at his antics. Then yeah, you see the classic turning the bully into the good guy situation. But yeah, I don't think it was as like visually stunning as something like Piper, but it was a fun little story, and yeah, I liked it more than
Sanjay.
than Sanjay. Yeah, it was fun though. Yeah,
Listeners at home, the Muppet I'm thinking of, they are Martians and they're called the Yip Yips.
there you go.
Yes.
There you go.
I post an image in our chat, but
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
For
that's what I was
listeners at home.
picturing. Yeah.
yeah, they're like, "Beep, beep, beep, beep." Yep. Anyway.
I think I was more weirded out.
They did not appear in the movies that I watched. So
No. Yeah, I definitely also for a lot of the movie was distracted just by what Lou is. And I did think it was the octopus at the very beginning from the way it was moving. And I was like, oh, it's that octopus from the I was like, is this a offshoot of Finding Dory or something? But cute. Bully was fun. Big playground. Very cool playground. I would have loved to have played on that playground as a kid.
I liked Lou a lot. I think I would probably put this in one of my favorites. I didn't remember this one, although I maybe have seen it before. It just feels like so quintessentially Pixar to me, that the silliness, the imagination, the heart. It actually reminds me a lot of what you're saying about the Sanjay like story, in that they don't like vanquish the villain, they make him more human. And that's really what they did with the bully in this story through the power of sharing. And I think that's like honestly such an important message for kids.
Yeah.
Like one of the hardest lessons for so many kids to learn. So yeah, big fan of this. I also just love like the idea of Lou living on in any Lost in Fan box.
And did we kind of get like, I forget now, when we discover the JJ doll, was it kind of revealed that a bully had taken it from him too?
Yeah.
So it's like bullied kids, bully kids kind of thing.
That's how it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Lou got a 7.8 on IMDb. No big deal, but it also got 100% on Rotten
Lou did.
Tomatoes.
Wow.
Whoa.
But it
right.
also only got like 50 reviews, so 50
Still
people
counts.
cared enough to
I mean,
come. Yeah,
still
it
pretty
still
good.
counts.
Yeah, that was
Still
the
counts.
only 50 that saw it.
And literally the only trivia piece, like information on IMDb is that it aired before Cars 3.
Great.
I'm like, cool. So that brings us into 5-star, 1-star.
Well, I actually have one Pixar particular to share.
Oh.
The Yip Yips are. I just want to like clarify because I'm a big Muppet expert right now in this point in time, and the Yip Yips are actually they are considered Muppets, but only because they're Sesame Street characters. So they're not on
Sure.
the Muppet Show, and I had to like get that off my chest. Had
Okay.
to.
In case people
But you
were
said
doubting.
Sesame Street counts as Muppets.
It does count. There, yes, you're right.
Tongue's
They're-
just worried that people were doubting his Muppet expertise.
I just don't want people to think I'm a bad Muppet guy, you know? Like, I know my Muppets.
Understandable. Understandable.
The Yip Yips.
Okay, well, now that we've cleared that air,
Thank you.
5-star coming at you from Kayla Pedigo. This needs to be a full movie. It's too hilarious and adorable to only last 7 minutes. So please pull all your sources together and make a movie. I will even buy shirts and toys y'all make for my children to promote this as a new movie. Thank Mrs. Pedigo. Ms. Pedigo. I don't know.
Great.
Thanks, Ms. Pedigo.
Thank
for
you.
I'm
that,
guessing
for
they're.
that 5-star
I'm
review.
guessing she's a teacher.
That's what I kind of
Yeah.
gathered. And that's what she meant by her kids.
Yeah.
We'll all, yeah. So thanks, Miss Pedigo, for spreading the word of Lou.
But it wasn't written by Miss Pedigo.
But also, what would it be as a feature film? Like, I feel like you could only go so far with this
Lou
concept.
possesses a bigger box by the end of it.
Lou's box gets stolen.
Oh, no, that's a sequel.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And
Oh,
there's
no.
no 1 stars for this one.
Great. Well, I mean, it's 100%. So why would there
Lose
be?
Yeah.
lose beloved. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Any hot takes?
I have one. About these yip yips. No. These dumb kids couldn't dig through that small lost and found box on their own. All of their shit was in this small box, and yet they needed this bully to hand it out to them. Like, what are we doing here?
One track mind, children.
It's such a small box.
Oh, I forgot. I did have a hot take. This short got me really excited for Christmas because it reminded me how good it feels to give people things. And,
So nice.
and so I'm excited for Christmas to give presents.
That's
Oh
not
my
really a hot
God.
take, but I'm glad you chimed in with that.
Here I am.
Thanks, Laura.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
very
really
It's a
wholesome.
cold,
Very wholesome.
snowy,
Very
wintry
wholesome.
take.
Yeah. Better than me saying these kids are fucking dumb. Can't rummage through a box.
Yeah, I'd love to see Lou reincarnate. Maybe not as a feature, but as another short, just made up of different things to see
Yeah.
more fun animation of him running, like being stuff. What if he was a lost and found of dog toys? What if he
That's
was?
fun. Yeah, that's actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a twisted version of that. What if he was like, how like we've seen inanimate objects that are alive already? So what if those inanimate objects are thrown in the box? Does he possess those other inanimate objects? I'm thinking
No, I don't like that.
Johnny Fedora. I'm thinking Alice Bluebonnet.
I don't like
I'm
that.
thinking the other
The
the
umbrellas.
umbrellas. What happens?
Chaos.
What happens?
That's chaos. I
Or
don't
like
know.
the whole cast of Toy Story.
I feel like it didn't seem like he was possessing all the things, though. He was just kind of like
Moving it?
using what he needed to like make his
Corporeal form.
Yeah. Because he was like grabbing the backpack and the football and stuff like that, and I don't feel like he was using those.
These items were merely conduits.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he would move
Yes.
through those other inanimate objects, is what
They
you're
would
saying.
He would like
them.
upgrade them. He'd get like a chainmail shirt at some point.
He Voltrons it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, well, great.
That's it for
is
Lou?
Lou. And let's finish it off, Brad, for Bow.
Wow, the last one. Bow.
Wowie bowie.
Wow. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Are you all
Can't tell
good?
if
You're
the
all done?
jokes in today's episode are good or bad, but there's a lot of them.
Okay. So yeah, Bow. It starts with, I wrote very Mulan-esque sounding music. I don't know what the instruments are that they use, but that's just what it reminded me of. We start with a close-up on somebody's hands. We don't know whose yet, but we watch them expertly craft all this bao. They're like rolling out the dough. They're shaping it. They got like the filling there and all that good stuff. We then see a woman as she opens up this window to the house, and all the steam or smoke or whatever goes out of the window, and we get the title card of Bao up in the sky as she's there. Very fun designs as well. We then go to the dinner table where there's an older man watching TV, and this lady that we had seen making the bao puts the steam basket down in front of him, taps him on the shoulder to eat, and they both start eating. While they're eating, he quickly glances at his watch and realizes that, oh no, he's late for work. So he quickly stuffs the last like 3 bao in his mouth, and they're like barely fitting in there as he runs off to leave for work. Meanwhile, the woman, who we can probably assume is his wife at this point, after he's gone, she just kind of like sadly keeps eating the bao. She seems very lonely in this moment. As she bites into the last bao, though, it suddenly starts crying. Oh no, what a twist. This big mouth opens up. She like freaks out, falls into the steam basket. She's terrified. Her eyes are huge. She doesn't know what's going on. And this bao goes from just like a weird crying mouth and sprouts like arms and legs and eyes, and it becomes just this little cute baby bao. And it's not until it gets really cute that she's like, oh wait, I'm not scared. This thing's cute. I love this thing. And she decides it is now hers, and it's her squishy, and she will call it squishy. So this lady loves this bao now. We basically enter giant montage for the rest of the short almost. Just montage city here. So we're gonna try to skip through this. We see the bow. It keeps getting like hit on the head or injured. There's a moment where the head deflates and she puts more of the filling back in its mouth to like puff the head back up. We see her measure the bow against the door frame like you would with a little kid to like do the height. We see them out shopping together, buying food together, doing Tai Chi together.
In
They're clearly,
Toronto as
yeah,
well.
and,
See
yeah,
CN Tower in the
this
back.
is all Toronto based, of course. And yeah, through this montage, we see a lot of these scenes repeated a few times. We see that the ticks on the door frame are getting bigger. We see the bow getting also, well, bigger because of the ticks, but or the lines on the door. But he's also like, he's got a shirt, he's got glasses, then he's got this little goatee, dirty goatee thing going on. And we see that the bow over time through the montage starts to want to do its own thing. It starts to get curious about kids playing soccer or what's going on over there. But the mother is like very overprotective, stops all of that from happening, basically like whisks him away anytime the kid seems to remotely want to do something that is not with her. Eventually, the bow is like clearly pissed off. I think it happens when he wants to play soccer with these kids, and she does this like really badass sweeping slide kick to get rid of the ball and like drags him away from the kids. So he's like super embarrassed. And then they're on the bus, and he's just like pissed off. He's not back to her, not wanting any of the food, nothing like that. From this point on in the montage, the bow enters the rebel phase. It's got like the crossbones on the door,
love that.
talking on the phone with the door closed, and the mom opens the door, and then he's like, oh, like puts the phone down, goes over and slams the door, just, being a real rebel. We eventually reach the climax of this montage where there's clearly a lot of tension in this house between the mother and this bow at this point. And so the mother decides, I know what's going to fix this. Some of the best food that Pixar has ever put on screen. And she makes this like insanely good looking just feast that fills the entire dining table. And the food all looks amazing. So the bow comes out of his room and she's like, hey, look at this, a giant feast I'm slaved all day making you. And I can't tell what this gesture is that he does. It kind of seems like a get fucked mom type of like shrug, but I don't know if it's supposed to be like, nah, I'm good. But the way that the stubby arms come up, I was like, is this Bao giving his mom the finger? That's super rebel. But anyway, you can tell this Bao is not having it still. So the Bao is like, nah, I'm leaving, goes with his friends. The mom is super pissed, just basically like eats all the food on her own. We then open up the door. We have no idea how much time has now passed because the Bao kind of looks the same still at this point. But he's standing in the door and this lady steps in front of the door and flashes a little bling because that little Bao is now married to some white blonde-haired woman.
Yeah.
This mom is
At least
just like,
engaged. At least engaged.
Yeah.
at least engaged. True, at least engaged. But yes, this mom's eyes, and she's just like stunned in every sense of that word. So while she's just like trying to take this all in, the Bao comes out with these tiny little suitcases because he's decided to move out with the fiance. And he comes over, gives his mom a hug, and is basically like, bye, see ya, I'm taking off. In a seemingly nice way, I thought. It seemed like he cared, but he was just kind of like, all right, bye. But the mom is just like not having any of this anymore. So she's trying to force him to stay in the house. There's a big struggle. She ends up pushing the fiance lady out the door. The Bao's trying to like get out, and she has the Bao by the arm, and they're like tugging back and forth as she's trying to like pull him into the room. They're struggling, and just as the Bao is about to like get that last little inch out the door, she just like has tears streaming down her face and just eats the Bao. Like just grabs him and eats it.
Shocking.
Just a big one bite.
Intense. One of the
remember
most shocking
seeing that.
short moment. Yeah, I
so
my
many
jaw
questions.
Collective gasp across the
Yeah,
theater.
I don't think I've ever been so shook by a short in my life.
Yes, it was pretty intense. She didn't even chew, just right down the gullet, and then just bursts out, starting to cry, falls on the floor. I did like this shot where she's on the floor and it fades to black, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
the black comes in from the edges of the screen and kind of surrounds her and consumes her, kind of like the darkness is closing in around her, which I thought that was kind of nice. So then after next thing we see is the mother lying in bed, just crying, kind of like in the fetal position. Her husband is in the doorway. We hear a door, and then she kind of like rolls over, and it's all blurry at this point. Like we can't focus on who the silhouette in the door is, but it looks like the bow, which is like a very
A human
all the
sized.
designs are very cartoony, but yeah, now it's like a human-sized bow. And then it focuses, and it's a human that looks like a bow, which
What a
didn't see
compliment.
that. Didn't see that. Yeah, didn't see that come. Yeah, she turns away from the sun though. In that moment, she like realizes it's him. She rolls back over, and it's just like eh. And the dad like pushes the son in, closes the door on them, in kind of like you two got to figure this shit out kind of thing. So the son kind of sadly sits on the edge of the bed, puts down some like a box of I don't know what the food was, but we saw them eating it like multiple times. It seemed like their thing, like this was their food that they would often get. So he put a box of that down. She wasn't really engaging at all, so he's about to get up and leave when she puts a hand on his shoulder, and she kind of like comes around on the bed, and they end up sitting next to each other, and they start eating this food silently and crying. The both of them start crying. There's quite a bit of crying, and it kind of fades out, or it doesn't fade out, but it goes to outside a window, which is a nice shot. The curtains like blowing in the wind, and you see them. They like lean into each other from like we're looking at their backs, and they lean in while they're eating, which is kind of cute. So then we cut, and it's maybe the next day, maybe not, who knows? But they're sitting around the family table now, and they're all making bao. The dad is just watching TV, but the mom, the human that looks like a bao, and the fiance are all making bao, and he's really bad at it, but shocking, the fiance is amazing at it, and they're all
Those
having a
nimble
really
fingers.
good time. Yeah, and just they're just hanging out. They're all happy together and being cute, and that's bao. Yeah,
Nice.
very good. What everybody think about this one, Laura?
What a whopper of a short. I mean,
What a bao of a short.
what a bow of a short. This one, like I remember watching it in theaters and being blown away. What was this? What did this precede?
Oh, well, it was 2018. Oh man, I wrote it down.
It
but I
might have
don't
been
see where I
like
wrote it now.
what's
It
it?
was Incredibles
Was it a
too.
s-
Okay,
Ah,
yeah, I was
yes,
gonna
that
say,
was
was
it.
it a
Yeah, yeah.
sequel one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember talking about it, like seeing it, being like completely blown away, and then talking about it with someone else who had seen afterwards. They were like, "What the heck? She eats her son?" And I was like, "Yeah, but it's a metaphor for like what a parent would do to like keep their kid close to them." And they were like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "You thought she literally ate her son? Like what?" So
I think that's the shock factor,
Yeah,
though. Like it's like
exactly,
Oh,
because
oh.
that's your first instinct, and then you start to sort
Yeah.
of think through. But I think it's a beautiful story, beautifully animated. Really, like I just appreciated the way that it really makes you think in a way that not all Pixar movies do, unless we go back to Red's Dream. Um, and the way that that they brought like food in, that Domi brought in food to like represent something bigger than what it actually was really creative and unique. So I'm a big fan of Bao, the short, and the food.
Well, it's also like me too, but like their bonding was through food,
Yeah.
right? Like that was the common thing. So to
Yeah.
have her
Go get those cakes.
imagine her son, which is revealed later as food, was really like it's a very nice touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'm already talking. I echo everything that you're saying, Laura. I think like the imagination of this one really is quite amazing, and like to have such a short have so many things to say about parenting, about culture, about just raising a child. Like just there's just so many things happening, and yet it juggles everything so well. And the way the twist happens at the end and the shock that happens from it, like I think it is one of my favorite shorts that Pixar has done easily. And that's, Brad will get to it, but like why she got Turning Red afterwards, right? Is from this short. So,
and there's so much of it in this, like watching it, you're like, oh man, like Turning Red. And it's like, it seems like a no-brainer watching this that they would give you more. I'm like, like there's clearly a vision here that's just really cool. There's like a screenshot of the Bao laughing on the bed that turns really graphic, and it definitely like harkens to the like Turning Red stuff where they just like break the models to like do funny things, which is so fun.
Yeah, I think as a director, like I don't know anything about Domi Shi beyond seeing this movie or this short and seeing Turning Red, but I feel like so much of
she went
Pixar,
to the same school as Brad.
Yes, that's true.
It's true.
It seems like so much of, as much as Pixar films are like full of heart and full of humor, there is something that's a little bit formulaic about some of them, but she just comes across as being fearless and really trying new things. And like that, I'm actually shocked that this idea of a mother eating her child like made it past producers and like got made and that sort of thing. And you kind of see that fearlessness carrying on into the subject matter that she tackles in Turning Red as well. But it all started with Bao.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sam, what about you?
Yeah, I also really like this one. I think much like Turning Red, it's like funny when it needs to be funny, but then it hits emotional beats when it needs to hit emotional beats. And much like Turning Red too, there's just like a lot you can take away from it. Like because it's kind of got that depth and is telling a lot of like nuanced things, but also things that I feel like, I don't know, like empty nest syndrome is like a grander thing that people can relate to. So there's like specifics, but there's also enough there kind of just for anyone. And I think it's, very masterful storytelling and a really cool, different short that we haven't seen before. So, and just the shock factor. I just can't get over her eating that bao. It's just such a moment that I also kind of forgot about going into this watch, because I think I've only watched it once or twice before, but I remember being like, oh yeah, I like bao. And like, I think I kind of remember it. And then as soon as the montage was going, I was like, oh my God, this ends with her eating. I remember now, like this ends with her eating her son. And I'd like forgotten that. So it was exciting for that too. But yeah, no, I really like bao.
Yeah. I don't really have much more to add. It's a really good short. There's a reason why it won an Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film. Again, not much more to add. I feel like three of you said it all. I don't love the designs, but that's just me. I like the drawings of them. Like if you look up the 2D drawings, that I guess because I think Domi maybe had a hand in drawing them, but like I like her drawings more than I like the 3D version of the drawings, if that makes sense. But the food looks really good. The acting's really good. I love a good montage.
Don't we all?
So yeah.
That's why we're here.
So speaking of Best Animated Short Film Awards and stuff. So yeah, this, as I think Laura mentioned, this was directed by Domi Shi, who also did Turning Red. I know we've only done, 16 Pixar shorts, but apparently, including the non-theatrical ones, this is their 35th Pixar short and the first one to be directed by a woman, which is pretty big deal. That's pretty cool.
Bonkers.
I know, eh?
Fucking insane.
They've been around. They're relatively
I
young
love
as a
this
studio.
for you, girl, but I hate this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Also,
general,
that 2D drawing that you sent of the
So
bao,
cute.
very cute.
Right? Yeah, I love the
cute.
2D drawings.
It reminds
of,
me of Sushi Go.
yeah.
The board game, yeah.
So yeah, pretty crazy and very cool that she got to do this. And then not too much longer after this, I feel like she probably like rolled almost immediately from this into Turning Red. I feel like we might have discussed that after in that cast that like, because this was 2018 and then pandemic wasn't too long after. So yeah, obviously the success of this helped propel her to direct another one with them.
which is like awesome, because I was reading too that this was like, ooh, Pixar is letting people tell their own like unique, diverse stories, and then they like did a U-turn on that.
Yeah, they were like, no more.
Man,
of
give it a decade.
Only sequels.
It's because like it was such an unfortunate turn of events, right? Like it's just like she had momentum and then pandemic happened and that like fucked everything over, and like Turning Red was just in that, right? It was just like, I never really had a chance, which sucks.
Yeah, very true.
I feel like one thing that I don't like about Bao, which a lot of the ones we talked about today are in the same vein, but I kind of liked the early Pixar films, how you could, there was an exact correlation between what like the main technology of that short film and then the film it was paired with. So it was always like we couldn't do this, so we like made a film to test it and prove we could, and then we implemented that technology into there. And I feel like they kind of stopped doing that as they went. And that was like one of my favorite things about the Pixar shorts
This
was
one's
being like,
testing food.
whoa, true. That is
This
true.
This one's also testing women as a director.
That's also true.
You're so right.
Oh boy.
I'm
Fair
sorry,
enough.
but it's true.
Okay. That moves Bao up in my rankings.
Yeah,
then,
that
right
the
there.
technology for women directing.
I'm
Wow,
like
who would've
angry
thought?
crying, right? You know that like laugh cry emoji where it's like, ah, that's me.
But yeah, so as Sam mentioned, a lot of the film obviously is about like empty nest syndrome for the mother. It does relate to Domi's upbringing a little bit. Doesn't seem like it was this intense, but I did read some stuff about the coddling that she went through, which I feel like she also brings into Turning Red
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, there's a lot of personal things in this short, I feel. She didn't want any dialogue in the movie. That was a conscious choice because she wanted the film to be universally understood and not have a language in as a barrier for any of that kind of stuff.
That was all of our
The-
shorts today.
True, yeah.
No dialogue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I forgot to say, IMDb, it's 7.5 out of 10. And Rotten Tomatoes, it's 88%. So
Not as good as Lou.
not as good
Or
as
Piper.
Lou. But does Lou have an Academy Award?
No.
No.
Piper
true.
does.
Piper does. But yeah, so
Well,
the
there could be an Academy Award in Lou's box by now.
It's true.
The way they give those things out.
So yeah, the whole eating of the steam bun thing, I guess her mom used to say basically like I wish I could like eat you and put you back in my belly because like it's like when it's like cuteness overload that you're just like, oh my God, you're so cute. I could just like eat you up. That kind of thing. So apparently her mom used to say something along those lines where it's just like I just want to like eat you and like put you in my belly and keep you there forever. So that the whole idea of eating the bao was apparently like one of the first things that Domi had that was just like, I want this to be in the film. Not too many other things, really. A lot of it was kind of like based around more just Domi as a person getting highlighted a lot, rightly so, being a talented person and first female director for Pixar. So yeah, a lot of the interviews are more like Domi centric. So not a lot about the actual movie necessarily, but yeah, really well executed. Kind of cool. I feel like of all the ones that I've been doing lately, I keep trying to find like behind the scenes making of stuff, and none of them really had any like actual movies, like DVD type things. Even though I remember it from back in the day, but I couldn't find it. But Bao has stuff, so I was like, oh, finally, one of them actually has some behind the scenes making of animation stuff. Apparently, the food was hard to do, which I mean, they say hard, but it's like, what was it? But apparently, it was like soft, like squishy and stuff. But I was like, I feel like you've done this in other movies. Like, why? I don't know. I don't know. 3D rendering's tricky, I guess. But yeah, so that's all I got for animation angle slash Pixar particulars. Now we got 5-star, 1-star. There was a 1-star for this one. Neither of these were like that great, but I kind of tried to pick the best one I could kind of find. So from Francis Clark, this is the 5-star, as you'll be able to tell right away. This is a near perfect short. It shows the greatness of Pixar and Pixar's potential if they didn't just do sequels. This short is incredible. It will make you cry in under 10 minutes, despite not a word being spoken. The music and animation will tell you all you need to know. It conveys a sweet message and an incredibly satisfying ending. 5 stars. And I was like, yeah,
Nice, yeah.
Satisfying like
Nailed
a
it.
warm dumpling.
yeah, I know.
Exactly.
And then the 1-star from Eli Pana. This film is great. The greatest film about a sentient dumpling who grows up, gets head deformations on a daily basis, and when he leaves his cannibalistic mother, he eats him alive.
Oh my God.
Also, there is nuclear bombs, murder, and illegal activities. I don't remember any of that. Why is a film like this rated PG or something, but a mother eats their child? Little toddlers are watching this. You should ban this lovely movie now.
Lovely.
Oh my God.
1 star.
What a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I know, right? I was like, that's the 1 star right there.
That's a book burner.
Cool. I don't have any hot takes. I like bao. Sam and I went for some good bao in downtown Ottawa not too long ago.
I can go
Nice.
for some right now, honestly.
Yeah, I was thinking about a bun bao.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah, and that wraps bao. Unless any of you have hot takes.
Hot takes? I'll tell you mine. I got
Please.
2. One, Laura's the blonde lady at the end of the she's really good at rapping, doing like a perfect rap on
I've got the
bao.
nimble fingers.
Yeah, I don't have the nimble fingers. I can do the stuffing really good, but Laura always raps it. So she is the
Yeah.
hot blonde lady. I don't know if she's that hot, but you're the blonde lady.
Well, I would say she is hot because my hot take was that
She's hot.
she's way out of his league. We know 2 things about her, that she's beautiful and she's good at wrapping dumplings. And we know 2 things about him, which is that he has an attitude and he looks like a dumpling. And I just don't understand how he scored her is I guess when I feel like Dumpling Boy has no redeeming qualities personally. Maybe I just don't like his goatee.
Maybe. Which
It is
is
a pretty bad goatee.
which
It
brings,
is bad.
It is a bad goatee.
brings me to my last hot take here. If your bao grows facial hair,
Yeah.
throw it out.
Throw it out.
You don't want to eat it. It's a hot, like I make a lot of bao.
Fair.
Anytime I see facial hair, it's out.
You know that next time we make bao, I'm going to give it a little face. A little goatee.
And I won't eat it. I won't eat it until I get really angry.
That's fine. That's
You won't
fine.
eat it till it becomes a little child and you grow to love it, and then it's gonna leave you for some hot lady.
Yeah.
Hot blonde lady, yeah. Who can make bao better than me? Get out of here.
Just fold it better. She can't make it better. She just folds it
She
better.
just folds it better.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
nimble fingers.
All right. Well, that's bao, and that is Pixar Shorties
Whoa.
Wow.
with our longest episode yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
These were a lot of good ones.
We
though.
had
a lot
Like,
to
they deserve
say.
the longest.
I
Yeah.
agree.
They were beefy.
They were beefy.
They were bowy.
Yeah, bowy, wow.
Porky.
Wowie, wowie.
But like, yeah, this is kind of why we wanted to go through this adventure because as
Yeah.
we saw, like, this is really like a quick version of what we went through with Disney Dummies and Pixar Pals, where like the early stuff, while not as great, cool to see the technology grow, and as the stuff happens like later in the series that we did, like you can see them becoming more experts at their craft and trying new things. Although, like I say, trying new things, but bao, like we said, like happened in 2018. And right now it's 2024 and they have not done an original theatrical short since. They've done Pixar Spark shorts, which we've kind of alluded to, but they've not really done your classic pairing of this short with a theatrical movie. The landscape's kind of weird right now, but like because
Yeah.
the next few movies that
Disney's
happen,
not doing them either. I
Yeah.
mean, not that they were always doing them, but they started for like a little bit and then stopped.
which kind of sucks because it really was. We talked about this at the beginning of Pixar Shorties, which was like we looked forward to the shorts just as much as we looked forward to the movies. There was like a good section where I was just like, I couldn't wait to watch the short before the movies until like the Frozen thing
They just
happened.
blew it so hard.
I bet you
Frozen one.
nobody wants to pay for a shorts program.
I know.
Well, that and they had to make room for the car commercials at the beginning of
Yeah,
the
true.
movie. So they had to cut the shorts, More commercials. Give them to
Disappointing.
me.
And let me tell you, so the next 4 shorts that happened, so like technically we could have done more, but like they weren't paired with movies or theatrical movies. But the next 4 shorts since 2018 were Lamp Life, which was a short for Toy Story 4, 22 versus Earth, which was a short for Soul, Ciao Alberto, which was a short for Luca, and Carl's Date, which was a short for Up.
And why didn't we do those ones?
Just because they weren't theatrical original shorts. Like they're based on like there have been shorts previously that were like I didn't want to do the shorts that were like associated with existing movies. Like I wanted them to
Like
Like
offshoots.
Jack Attack?
Like
Yeah.
Jack Attack, like a bunch of Monsters University,
Yeah.
Monster
Inc.
Inc. stuff. You know what I mean? Like it just felt like not original. Whereas like the ones that we've talked about, even like the bad ones, even Bounden, those were at least idedes that people had and they
You guys
wanted
didn't like Bounden?
Sounds like you got a pink think in your thing.
Stink.
I can't remember what he says now.
to. Sounds wrong.
Yes.
Oh, that pink kink in your thing.
Definitely something pink in your stink. You should get that checked out.
R-rated version. Anyways, a long way to say that like I feel like Pixar has moved away from what made them special in a way,
Creativity,
in their
yeah.
creativity, in their
Yeah.
theatrical movies
Respecting
and
artists.
shorts. Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have too much pink in my stink right now. we gotta end this podcast. So that is our final episode of Pixar Shorties. You might be wondering what we're going to be doing next, and we will continue to review and talk about new Disney movies, theatrical movies as they come out, new Pixar movies as they come out. But now we're kind of like the doors are open for us to do
For
a bunch of different
agents.
stuff. Exactly. So talking about, we already kind of teased out what we're going to do next, and we're going to do a little bit of a limited run on Pixar Homies next, but we're
Disney
doing
homies?
Disney
Disney
homies.
homies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Disney homies, but we're doing a very select few. I don't want to go through Mulan 2 or Tarzan 2 and just suffer through that stuff. But we're going to do all the good ones, which there's about 5 of them, I think. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, we'll have to discuss, make sure we're on the same page with what ones these
Interesting.
are.
Exactly.
I've heard Lion King 1.5 is outstanding.
Ooh, I love Lion King one and
It
a
is
half.
actually really good.
We're doing
Yeah.
the Lion Kings. That's already
Okay.
been established.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're doing the Aladdins as well. That's kind
Yes.
of what else.
And Belle's
Please.
Enchanted Christmas for Christmas?
Those were the 5.
What about Goofy movie? And Goofy movie?
Oh, and the Goofy movie. You're right.
Yeah, that's so
Goofy
sick.
movie.
Anyways, a little tease, but anyways, that's it for Pixar Shorties. So let's get out of here. Laura, Sam, do you want to sing us out?
Aw, I'm Monsters Inc. Is that something?
Well, that's not singing out, but
I don't know. I just that
You
just
know what
popped in my
we
head.
need to actually say to the listeners on this is so long, partners.
And
It's the end of Pixar, you guys.
It's not done forever though. Just until
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but-
well, we're gonna
We're going back to
Moana too.
Disney.
Yeah,
So
that's when
that's
Toy
not
Story
Pixar.
5 comes
But
out.
then another
Oh
Pixar
yeah,
movie will
Toy
come
Story
out.
5. All right, well
Can I
then
just
maybe
say
it's just
that Sam and Laura have never been able to properly sing us out?
They didn't even realize what the
Really
song
good.
was that they've been singing this whole
Even now.
time.
No, that's a Disney one.
Laura.
But yeah,
The disrespect in this room.
I mean they're not wrong.
All right.
Shall we?
Na,
shall
na,
we
na,
get
na,
a
na.
partner? Na na
Na, na,
na 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 na.